let's take a look at the remainder of this particular worksheet. Number 22, 23, and 24 ask you to write the equation of the parabola in vertex form. Vertex form is this: y is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. So in order to write this in vertex form, I need a couple of things. I need h and k, which are the vertex, and then I need the value of a. So let's take a look at how we're going to do that. I already have the vertex, so I can substitute that into my equation. So I'm going to have y is equal to a times x minus 3 squared plus 6. But I still have too many variables in that equation to solve. I need to find a. I have this other piece of information that the y-intercept is 2. That means I have an ordered pair at 0, 2. I can substitute in that value of x and y into my equation. That will mean that I only have a left and I can solve for a. So I have 2 is equal to a times 0 minus 3 squared plus 6. Subtracting the 6, I'm going to get negative 4 is equal to a times negative 3 squared, which is going to be 9. So minus 4 is equal to 9a. So a is equal to negative 4/9. Once I have the value of a, I can go ahead and write that equation in vertex form. It will be y is equal to negative 4/9 x minus, well, I don't even need to put that 0 there. It's just going to be x squared. Oh, no, my vertex, I'm sorry. I do need to put that there. I got a little lost for a minute. Negative 4/9 x minus 3 squared plus 6. Let's look at another. So again, I have the vertex. I'm going to substitute that in. So x plus 2 squared plus 6. I have a y-intercept at 0, 12. I'm going to go ahead and substitute that in. 12 is equal to a times 0 plus 2 squared plus 6. Subtract the 6. A times 4, or 4a. That's going to give me a value of a equal to 3/2, because a is going to be 6/4, so we can reduce that. Then I'm going to go ahead, substitute the value of a that I have and the vertex into the general form of the equation. So y is equal to 3/2 x plus 2 squared plus 6. One more. This time I have the vertex and a point. So I'll go ahead and substitute in my vertex. Y is equal to a times x minus 0 squared plus 5. Then I'll go ahead and substitute in my point. It's still an ordered pair, so I can still use it. 3 is equal to a times 1 minus 0 squared plus 5. That's going to give me negative 2 is equal to 1 squared is 1, so a is equal to negative 2. Then I have my vertex. I have my value of a, so I can go ahead and write the equation, which is just going to be that negative 2, and my vertex is at 0, so I'll just write negative 2x squared plus 5. Okay. Let's take a look at the next group. 25, 26, and 27 ask you to write the function in standard form. So in standard form, you have to pay attention to your order of operations. We're going to take first this 3x minus 4 squared and write it side by side so that we recognize we have to FOIL that. Don't lose that negative sign out front. FOIL, remember first, that's going to give me 9x squared. Outer, negative 12x. Inner, negative 12x. Last, plus 16, plus 6. Distribute that negative sign inside. Combine like terms first. Let me do that. I don't want you to skip that step and lose a sign. So minus 9x squared minus 24x plus 16 plus 6. Adding that 6 is the last thing you're going to do. Distribute the negative sign, negative 9x squared plus 24x minus 16 plus 6. Combine like terms, you have y is equal to negative 9x squared plus 24x minus 10. Moving on to number 26. Y is equal to 2 times x minus 3 times x minus 3 plus 2. So you're going to FOIL those two binomials first. Leave the 2 out front for now. It's going to give me x squared minus 6x minus 6x plus 9 plus 2. Remember, you're saving that plus 2 for the end. Combine like terms. So you have x squared minus 12x plus 9 plus 2. So that's going to give me 2x squared minus 24x plus 18 plus 2. So I should have 2x squared minus 24x plus 20. No, that's not right. I'm sorry. I think I'm getting tired, but I'm going to finish these last couple, and then I'll do the rest tomorrow. Let's go back and do that one again, because I made it 6x, and it should have just been 3x. So y is equal to 2 times x minus 3 times x minus 3 plus 2. So 2 times x squared minus 3x plus 9. So 2 times x squared minus 6x plus 9 plus 2. Okay, so now I FOILed that correctly. Sorry. Distribute the 2 inside, so you get 2x squared minus 12x plus 18 plus 2. So 2x squared minus 12x plus 20. After you multiply that out. Let's try one more. So y is equal to x plus 2 times x plus 2 minus 3. FOIL the binomials first. Combine like terms. And when you're finished, you should get x squared plus 4x plus 1. The next part is actually not too bad. We're going to go on and finish this review packet. This is the calculator portion. We're going to use the calculator to get the values you need. So I'm going to pull up my calculator. Okay, remember you're going to go to the Stat, Edit. If you have values in your calculator, you can arrow up to the header, hit Clear, then hit Enter, and it will clear those values. You want to clear all of those values before you start entering data. Okay, once you've done that, go ahead and put the fertilizer in pounds into L1. Then you want to put the yield into L2. Okay, once you have entered that information, you want to get the quadratic model that fits that data. You can actually turn your stat plot on and take a look at that. So you're going to go second y equals, hit enter, turn your stat plot on, second quit out of there. Okay, so here are the steps to getting that quadratic model. You've entered the data, turned your stat plot on, go to stat, arrow over to calculate, down to number 5, quadratic regression, hit enter. If your screen looks like this, you're going to look at the X list is in L1. Mine is there, so I'll hit enter. My Y list, however, is in L2. So I will hit second L2 and then hit enter so that the calculator knows where to look. So it's going to look at L1 and look at L2. Come down to where it says, where do you want to store this linear or this quadratic regression? You want to store it in a y equals, so you have to go to varies, arrow over to y varies. It says function, you want to hit enter. It says it's going to put it in y1. You say enter. Say enter again, enter one more time. It will give you your quadratic model. Round to 3 decimal places, please. You can then take a look at the graph. Okay, I'm going to have to change my window as soon as it's done. I'm going to go in and take out what's in my Y2, and I'm going to change my window so that I'm looking at the range, or excuse me, the domain as 0 to 50, because that's the amount of fertilizer used. And then my yield, I'm going to look at my y-axis from 0 to 40. So I can get a look at this model. Then I can take a look at the graph. There's my line of best fit, and it looks like it suits the graph. From here, you're asked to find the vertex. So the steps to find the vertex on the calculator would be to go to second, calculate, maximum. You'll see it asks you for a left bound. You want to make sure you're on the left side of the vertex. Hit enter. It'll put a line in there. Slide your cursor over to the opposite side where you can tell you've passed the maximum point. That asks you for the right bound. Hit enter. Now the calculator is telling you it's going to look between those two lines for the maximum value. You just hit enter, and it will give you the maximum value and at the amount of fertilizer that would cause that maximum value. Okay, so let's take a look at entering our information on our worksheet. Rounding this to 3 decimals gives me y is equal to negative 0.018 x squared plus 1.094 x plus 3.83. The vertex was at 30.859, comma 20.712. Says, does the function have a maximum or a minimum value? In fact, the function has a maximum value because it opens down. That maximum value is the y coordinate at 20.712. And then the last one, you can just walk through those steps again. I'll just give you the answer. You're going to enter these in the list 1, enter these in list 2. Then you will go to Stat, arrow over to Calculate, then arrow down to Quadratic Regression. When it comes up, you're going to check your X list to make sure that it says L1. Y list should say L2. Then when it says Store Regression, you're going to go to the vars key, arrow over to Y vars, and then I think you hit enter 4 times. So hit enter 4 times, it should be there. If your screen does not look like mine and instead looks like quad regression, you want to go to the second 1 key, which will give you L1. The second 2 key gives you L2. Then you want to go to vars, arrow over to Y vars, and you will need to hit enter 3 times. Okay, make sure you have your commas between those lists. So now I'm just going to put these numbers in here and you can check your calculations. 0.004x squared plus 1.032x plus 5.667. The vertex is at 138.98 and 77.368. It opens down because its A is negative, so that means it has a maximum value. And that maximum value is the y coordinate at 77.368. And that ends this video. And I have one more video to make for the transformations. I will do that